All right, guys, welcome back to the MMAOB Daily Podcast. It is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. It's the second podcast here. Just recap UFC 281, that epic card. Now we're going to preview UFC Vegas 65, which, to be honest, is not the greatest card, but I'm still going to watch it. Obviously, I know you are, Marcel. I mean, we always do. There could be some fun fights. I think it could be a bit of a sleeper card. There's some fun fights on it, like stylistic matchups, but like the names aren't big, right? How do you say I am looking forward to it? Marcel, how's it going, man? Again, and any initial thoughts, I guess, on this card too?
Yeah, man, all good. Still feeling sexy, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I mean, this card, there are a few fights I'm interested in, but for me, the main event is an absolute stinker. I mean, this is like we don't have a main event fight. Let's call Derrick Lewis. That's how I feel about this main event.
Yeah.
Not really one I'm looking forward to. Can be a fun one, can be an absolute sucky one. And I think there wasn't any much other possible to put on the main event if you looked at Cutelaba as the co-main event.
No, this was the only fight.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, maybe water down the pay-per-views a little bit more. Yeah. They could have put, honestly, you got some prelims like the Ryan Spann against Dominic Reyes. It could have been on this card. You could have put that as a main event.
Although the fight didn't last that long.
Anyway. Yeah, but we don't know that before the fight. True. You know what I mean? So,
for sure.
Yeah, that's how I think about it. But this fight, when I remember I was doing a nap, and I woke up and I saw this one announced on Twitter. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense for Derrick Lewis to get a step down in competition after losing twice, And then I seeing it was the Brazilian UFC page. It's like Luta Principal. I was like, come on, it's main event. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I think about it.
Anton, what's up, man? Glad to have you back, buddy. Joe, what's up, man? Bircha, he's talking about JDM, Jack Della Maddalena. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. I think he's really good. We'll talk about him.
He should be co-main, in my opinion.
Probably, right? Like, I think they're building him up. These cards usually deliver. I think the card will probably end up being pretty good. I'm actually thinking there's going to be a lot of knockouts in this card. But, again, the names aren't big. What's up, Sinister? How's it going, man? Natalia Silva fan clubs here. We've got Bircha and Marcel. What is it like? You, like, Netherlands guys, like, love her or something? Like, it must be something in the water there. No, we got more. We got more.
Who doesn't love her?
Oh, you horny bastards, man. I love her too. I mean, how do you not? This girl's awesome. Let's just get into it. All right, she's actually opening up the card, which is great. So we're gonna talk about Natalia Silva.
She should open the card, man. To be really honest,
you love this girl, Marcel. You're in love with her. Marcel's the biggest simp for this girl I've ever seen. Actually, that's not true. You guys in the chat are all you guys in the chat. All right, let's get into the first fight. We got Natalia Silva taking on Tereza Bleda, who didn't get a contract on Contender Series, but eventually got signed anyways. I guess no one wanted to fight Natalia. That's probably what I'm thinking happened. And they were like, all right, well, you're going to fight her. You're going to get a contract. Odds for this one, Natalia Silva minus 165, plus 140 on Tereza Bleda. Marcel, I'll let you start this one off, man, because I know this is you're part of the fan club. So go ahead.
First of all, Bleda is kind of bigger than Natalia, but so was just so the vicious as well, I think. Mm-hmm. Bleda super young, 20 only. She fought Contender Series recently, got that win over Maia. She was one of the few winners of the Contender Series that would not get signed. Now she is with the UFC. I think she's a very good fighter, but the problem is she's fighting Natalia Silva, Natalia Silva got that great win over Jasmine Jasudavicius last time out. She was a pretty moderate underdog in that fight. Coming in. She came in the UFC. She was supposed to actually fight in 2021 already, but she got an arm injury, I think. She got surgery on it. Came back. She looked super solid, man. She looked good on the feet. She looked good on the ground. Just an overall good performance. And now against Bleda, I think Bleda is pretty good. I think she can make it a good fight with her. I still think that Natalia Silva will win. I don't think she finishes her. I think it goes to a decision. But I think it's a very competitive fight. Bleda is not a bad fighter at all. So looking forward to this one. I think this is way too low on the card, dude.
It's a good fight, man. This one's tough, I think. I think it's harder than it looks, guys. I got to be honest. Like, because of the things Marcel just said, like, this girl is 5 inches shorter, 6 inches reach, and the other girl's only 20 years old. Like, she's going to get better. And she's also kind of a wet blanket, right? She can hold you to the ground. We saw that. Not the most exciting fighter, I don't think, Bleda. That's why they didn't sign her first, but she's still good. But man, I mean, how do you not pick Silva right after the last fight? Like, I have to pick her here, Marcel. I'm just saying there's something telling me, like, it's not as easy as it looks, And again, whenever someone goes from being like a big underdog to like being the favorite, that always kind of makes you question things a little bit more. But I think
Henry,
right? Sorry,
like Victor Henry.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was that was minus plus 400 to minus 400.
Yeah.
This one's like, I think it was like what plus 150 or plus 200 against Jasmine.
The
line was crazy, like you said. I think she wins because I just think what I saw that fight, like whatever that fighter was that fought Jasmine back in June, that was beyond impressive, right? And she's already had a UFC fight too, and we got those jitters out of the way. I think Bleda is going to win a lot of fights on the UFC, man. I think she's pretty good. Like, I don't think she's the most exciting fighter, guys, but I think she knows how to win. And again, only 20 years old, Marcel. So, at the same time, the other girl has got 19 fights compared to 6. That's something in Silva's favor. I just was so impressed by her performance. I think she's the better striker, right? I think if she can keep this fight standing, I think she'll win the fight. And also, obviously, she's dangerous on the ground to her submissions. Like, she's just a good, solid fighter. I have to pick Silva, but again, there's my spidey sense is saying this is not as easy as it looks. That's all I'm saying, guys.
I agree.
That's all it is. I think Blade is good, man. I don't think she's bad at all, bro. Some good talent coming through wins fight. I agree. Silva by knockout. It's interesting. Maybe she has a few. Fight doesn't go the distance. Silva double chance sub knockout. Possibly. I think she wins, but again, I think Blaze is good too. So, and I'm with George too. Like, this fight should probably be on the other card. By the way, this guy's hilarious. He thinks that they'll make pretty Latin children. Well, Marcel's going to make a pretty Latin / Dutch child with her. So I'm just joking. Let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have Brady Hiestand taking on Fernie Garcia. Give my boy Cole Sheldon a shout out because he interviewed both guys, and Cole always interviews these guys who are like on the bottom of the card. Just wanted to give him a shout out. It was a great job. Odds for this one: Brady Hiestand minus 155, Fernie Garcia plus 135. Let me just start on this one, Marcel. I'll start this time. Really high on Brady Hiestand. I picked him to win tough. The fight, I know that he lost to Turcios, but the fight was very close. Different judges could have won the fight. Taking a year and a half off, which is not great, but he's so young. He's only 23 years old. He's going to get so much better during that time off. Fernie Garcia is also a young guy. He's only 30. And I know he had that nice win on Contender, but man, that performance at Junior Hiestand did not impress me at all. I got to be honest with you, Marcel. I thought he looked pretty bad in that fight. And now he's fighting a really good prospect who I think can take him down. I think he can take him to the ground and grind him out a little bit. Fernie's never been finished, so I feel like it probably goes the distance and Hiestand wins the decision. But I actually think I like him quite a decent bit in this fight, Marcel, and the line's really low. So I got to go Brady Hiestand, guys. What do you think about him, man? You think he wins?
Man, I don't know. I really like Brady as well. He's a great fighter, I think. I got to say, I picked Turcios to beat him in the final, and he did. It was a close fight. I think it was a split decision. Fernie didn't look good against Journey at all. I expected more of his, but I've been a long time lover for Journey for Fernie Garcia's fights. I think he's really good, but he still has a lot of development to make. By the way, can you delete that guy who is being an idiot?
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm going with a gamble here. I'm taking Fernie by decision, but okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Brady wins. I think it's much closer.
That's fair. See, I'm with Anthony. I kind of thought he'd be a little bit bigger favorite because Fernie looks so like mediocre in his last fight, but I guess the layoff. He only has one fight in the UFC. I get it, but I think he wins. I like him here. Next fight, we go to the women's strawweight division, Marcel. Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Maria Oliveira, another one of your favorites, Marcel. This one, I think, right? She's another one of your favorites, Marcel. Maria Oliveira.
Not as much as Natalia, but I like her. Yeah.
And actually, she was on that same card, that Austin card, which was crazy.
Yeah.
This one is really close odds. It's minus 115 Oliveira, minus 105 Demopoulos. So the line could easily flip by the end of the week. Who do you think wins this one? Because this is I think the closest fight, one of the closest fights in the card. The other one would be Fialho Salikhov. That's minus 110 each. But what do you think of this one?
You with the Greek background, go first.
I mean, I think it's a competitive fight, but I'm leaning towards Oliveira. I'm going to tell you why, because I know that Demopoulos has beat taller and longer opponents, but 10 inches of reach, guys. 59 inches, which I believe is the shortest. According to McKenna, I think 58 to 69 inches in this fight. 4 inches of height. And I get it. Maybe it could play into her strength. Maybe she'll get a takedown really easily, possibly. But I don't know. Oliveira, I think on the feet, honestly, I think she can outstrike her. I thought the last fight she looked really good in. One thing that is interesting is Tabitha Ricci is best friends with the Vanessa. and she obviously fought Oliveira and she beat her. So there's probably something that she can learn from her. But like, I don't know, man. I'm just not sold on Vanessa Demopoulos. I got to be honest with you. Like, I like her. Like, I like, you know, the thing where she jumped into Rogan's arms. That was awesome. And like, I think she's, you know, she knows the sport well. She's commentating and stuff. But like, I don't know. Like, she's my age. She's 34. She's just, you know, kind of like getting better now. Like, she's a little bit older, you know. And honestly, like the Junior Frey fight, she probably should have lost that fight. And also the Juarez fight, before she got the armbar, she got brutally knocked down and then jumped in. The other girl jumped in the armbar. I'm just not sold on her, Marcel. I don't know. Like, maybe she wins, but I'm not completely sold on her. I'm not sold on Oliveira either, but like, I did like what I saw in the last fight against DePaula. And if this fight's on the feet, I think she outstrikes her and wins the decision. So Oliveira by decision. That's my pick in this one. What do you think?
I'm with you, man. I'm also picking Oliveira by decision. I think she can keep it standing. She can pick her shots, and she does what she did against Gloria DePaula. She can get the win, and I'm with you there, man. I'm also with Maria Oliveira. I think it will be a close fight, but at the end, I think she edges it out.
Yeah, fair enough. Edging Maria. That's what I'm thinking too. Did you guys see the interview? I did see that with Dana. That was the guy who was talking about Stipe. I don't know who that was. I honestly have no idea who that even was. Marcel's been on fire with his picks. He's been good. Vanessa Demopoulos, ML. I know it's going to be a popular bet this week. Also, I know she was on Clint's podcast. She did a guest appearance on his podcast. And I know like people like her. I get it. She's popular, but I don't know, Marcel. I just can't get past the 10 inches of reach. Like, that's a lot of reach giving up. Like, I'd like to see the stats. You know, when they put the bottom of the screen, sometimes they'll put like this fighter's like the age gap has won so many fights in the last 10 years. I'd like to see like what the overall like wins and losses have been for like 10 inches of plus of reach, because that's a lot of reach. So if she can't get her to the ground, Vanessa, she's going to lose this fight, I think. Like, she barely beat Junior Frey, and I think this girl's a better, you know, not, I don't know if she's like better, but like she's more in her prime, right? All right, next fight here, Ricky Turcios against Kevin Natividad, and we just hope, Marcel, that Ricky Turcios fights better than his last fight against Imon Zahabi, because that was just wow. Odds for this one: Turcios minus 155, Quicksand plus 135. You can start on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Natividad hasn't looked good in the UFC at all.
No.
And I think the UFC wants to have Turcios get a win here. That's what I think. That's why they made this fight. Turcios, he won the Ultimate Fighter by beating Brady, split decision, right? And then in that last fight against Zahabi was a horrible fight, which he put on. Was screaming the whole time as well. Very annoying. But I think he will likely beat Natividad, man. I'm going with a decision win for Turcios, but it's not a fight I'm really looking forward to.
I'm with you. I mean, how can you pick Natividad? He's looked so bad in the UFC. Like, he's worked worse than Ricky. I also think that this is a fight that the UFC is setting him up with to win. If he can't win this fight, I think he gets released. I really do. I think they're fighting for their job. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Just Natividad looks so bad, man. I don't get it. Like, he actually looked really good in LFA coming up. Like, he looked like a decent prospect. The guy looks so bad in the UFC. His chin looks terrible. He's got a lot of quick knockout losses in his career. I actually think that he could get knocked out in this fight, but you know, Turcios is more of a decision guy. That's probably why I would lean decision. I'm just saying, like, he could knock him out too. So that's something that maybe keep in mind is like a long shot prop, just because this guy's chin is just not very good. I'm looking at the odds right now. Turcios by decision plus 150, but by knockout plus 550. I think he could knock him out. So we're on that one too. Even though, again, Ricky looks so bad in his last fight, it's just for me, I have to fade one guy. I'm going to fade Kevin Natividad, who's been knocked out brutally in 2 fights. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Speaking of the guy who's got knocked out, Kevin Natividad, we have Miles Johns taking on Vince Morales here, Marcel. This is a short notice fight for Miles Johns. Odds on this one are minus 165 Johns, plus 140 Morales. So despite the short notice, he is the favorite in this fight. And I'll start on this one. I kind of agree with that. I got to be honest with you. Like, I do think he wins this fight. I think it's competitive again, but you know, I think he's more of a well-rounded fighter in my opinion. I think he can mix up the grappling and striking more. He is training with Krause now, which is interesting because you wonder who Krause is betting on in the fight. If he's going to bet on an opponent because he's the underdog. I'm just kidding. I just, you know, I know he got like caught for Adderall, which I don't really see as a performance-enhancing drug. Like, it's not like it's steroids, you know. I think before that last fight with Castaneda, the guy was on a roll, knocking out people and looking great. I think he's a pretty good fighter. Vince Morales looked good at times, but I still think he can be taken down. His takedown defense, UFC's 43%. I think Johns could take him down here as well. I think he can knock him out. I think Johns wins this fight. I think it's a good matchup for him. despite the short notice. That's why I think he took the fight, because I think he thinks he can win it. I think he does win it. So I'll go with John's decision, or possibly a stoppage, but probably a decision, because Morales is pretty tough. So what do you think?
I really like Vince, but I also think that John's probably gets it done, with this wrestling.
Yeah.
I think probably decision. Vince is a fun fighter, but for some reason doesn't click sometimes, and I hope if he loses, he gets another chance, because I think he's a fun fighter to watch. He has some fun finishes in the UFC as well.
Yeah.
And but I also think John's probably wins a decision. Is
Louis Smolka on the roster anymore, or has he been released?
Who?
Louis Smolka.
Smolka's gone, I think.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Let's go to the next fight here. Oh, let's get some comments. Sorry. The Maria Ricky parlay. I mean, maybe. It's not big local. He's talking about Poirier. We'll talk. Well, shoot. I wish you were in the other chat, because we just talked about the 281. Anyways, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. Jennifer Maia taking on Maryna Moroz. Maryna Moroz, I think, doing Playboy, first UFC fighter, I believe, to do Playboy. Is that correct, Marcel? You would know?
You would know.
You would know.
Right.
Pretty sure. One of my friends sent me a message about this. Pretty sure that's what's happening here. And obviously fighting here now against Maia. It's actually the favorite here, despite being the low-ranked fighter. That's interesting. Moroz minus 190, Jennifer Maia plus 160. You can start this one, man. Who do you think wins this one?
I think Maia will win, probably. I know Moroz is on a nice win streak, 3 wins, but that's dated already from 2019 till 2022. It's like 1 win every year, pretty much. Finally, she's fighting for a second time this year. She had a great performance against Maria Agapova, remember, in March. Jennifer Maia, I know she's on a 2-fight losing streak, but it was against Caitlin Chookagian and Manon Fiorot, so it's possible. I think Maia gets a decision here, man. This is like a typical fight that can go either way. You see a split decision probably either way, I don't see finish. I'm going with Maia here.
Yeah, she's the first UFC fighter to post her Playboy. I don't know if the issues come out yet, because I'm sure the pictures would be out there pretty soon. You know what, Marcel? I'm with you on this one. I'm picking Maia too. This was one of the underdogs that stood out for me, right? Like, I just don't understand the odds, really. Like, I don't know why Maryna is almost 2-1 favorite. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like, Maia is the more proven fighter, in my opinion. I think she's fought better competition. No, I'm getting me wrong. Maryna's a good fighter. Like, she's proven that. Like, she's shown throughout her career that she's underrated a little bit. Like, remember she submitted Joanne Wood in her debut. That was a big surprise. Remember that one? Huge upset at the time. Even last night against Agapova, it's so dominant. But I just look at the competition. Like, Maia's losing to Manon Fiorot, Caitlin Chookagian, Valentina. Like, she's losing to literally the best. And I get it, she's not winning, but she's decently competitive. Like, even took a round against Valentina. The Fiorot fight, I know she lost the unanimous decision, but I thought it was decently competitive. I want to say she landed like a head kick at one point in that fight. Am I mistaken? Maybe I think she did. Like, landed a nice kick. Anyways, I think in this fight it'll be competitive, but I just think Maia can kind of like stay at distance, outbox her a little bit, and then maybe push her against the fence. I think it'll be really close. I look at this as like a coin flip type fight. Like, to me, like, this should be like minus 110 each, I think. And now you're getting plus 160. I mean, to me, there's got to be some value there, Marcel. So I'm with you. I'm going to go with Jennifer Maia. And you said decision, right? I'm assuming,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, Grateful Dude, what's up, man? Yeah. Over is a good play here. I don't see a finish in this fight. They're both very tough. Over is minus 350. I mean, it's juice, but it should be a winner. Yes, exactly. Remember that head kick? That's right. There was one nasty one. Hiestand Johns. I think they both win. What's up, Sergio? Islam Volk. Yeah, maybe. You could submit him. That fight's going to be crazy, man. I can't wait for that. His head might turn purple this time. Yeah, I think the competition, too. Happy for reads Playboy. Dude, nobody
reads Playboy.
Remember that? That was the whole joke. Like, oh, I'm reading the articles. Remember, like, that was the whole, like, joke over the years. I never had a Playboy, but I think one time we went to, you're going to laugh, but we went to, like, camp, like a winter camp with my, I think we were like grade 7 or 8. And I think someone had a Playboy and they were passing it over.
I had one.
Right? You had one, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, because at the store here, you got the electronic stores, like with DVDs and Blu-rays and that kind of stuff. And there was like a certain store, like the girls behind the counter.
Yep.
They did a special. So at the store, they gave them away to all customers. So, and I bought the DVD there, so I got a free one. Everybody got a free one, so that's why I had one. So,
Marcel can't open up the pages anymore, but they're stuck together. But he still got it. Anyways, all right, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. I'm sorry, I just had to make that joke. All right, let's go to the next one here. Charles Johnson. Speaking of spreading your seed, Marcel, we got the man with like 20 kids, Zhalgas Zhumagulov, taking on Charles Johnson, Energy. I think this could be a decent fight too. Charles Johnson's favorite, -155, Zhalgas +135. Let me ask you, are you surprised that Charles Johnson's the favorite, and who do you think is going to win the fight?
I'm going back and forth with this one, man. I think it's really difficult one,
Yeah.
But I think Zhalgas looked really good in this fight against Jeff Molina, and I think he got screwed in that fight.
Oh, yeah, that was a horrible decision.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
And I'm happy, actually, they gave him another fight because I was like, he only got one win in his last 5 fights. He might get screwed here by the UFC, and they let him go, but they gave him Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson is a pretty good fighter, man. I like him a lot. Got that win over Carlos Moda in LFA, where he got champion. Came to the UFC and got pretty much out-wrestled by Mokaev. I'm still with Zhumagulov here, man. I think Zhumagulov wins. I gave him with a decision. I think he wins. Both guys trained with each other, I think, back in the day as well. So
that's interesting. What camp would it be? ATT or?
No, with Tiger. Charles Johnson went to Tiger a few weeks. Yeah.
I'm going to pick Johnson. That's my initial thought. Again, he's got a big size difference here going for him. 5 inches of height, 4 inches of reach. And again, Zhalgas is 1-4 in the UFC with his one win against Jerome Rivera, who he didn't win a fight, I don't think, right? Yeah. 0-4, and he really should have been 0-5 with that Contender Series fight. He should have lost that fight. But the fights were competitive, right? They were pretty competitive. The Paiva fight was, I think he could have won that fight too, Marcel, and the Maryna fight. So his record could be 3-2 instead, right? That's why I think they kept him around, because they're like, you know what? It's flyweight. They always need flyweights. Charles Johnson, he didn't look good against Muhammad, but he didn't look horrible either. Against the guy who could just hold him down. He just got held down. I don't think this guy can do it to him, so I think he can shine a little bit, show his other skills. But again, there will be upsets on this card. This one I'm not 100% sure on. I'm just leaning towards Johnson. I'm with Marcel. I think the odds could be closer to, and I don't blame you at all for taking a shot on Zhalgas. Yeah.
Do you know what happened to that Roberto Sanchez guy? He was also a flyweight in the UFC, and I think he fought Joby Sanchez at a certain moment.
Roberto, no, I think it's another name, isn't it? Not Roberto Sanchez, is it? Joby Sanchez.
Little Furious, his nickname. He was also an LFA. I think he was a champion.
Oh, it is Roberto Sanchez. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He went 1-2 in the UFC and got cut. He was in release since 2018. So. Yeah, but he had some decent fights too, right? They were pretty competitive. I remember you talking about. He only fought once or twice. John's the LFA. That's what I'm saying. John watches more MMA than me. Every time I'm up, this guy's up at 3 a.m. watching some card in somewhere across the world, which I love, by the way. I love the passion, man. Love it.
Me too.
Let's go to the next fight here. We got, opening up the main card, guys. Jack Della Maddalena, one of our favorites here on the podcast, against Danny Roberts, Hot Chocolate, who always puts on really fun fights. Odds for this one, this is, I believe, the widest fight on the card according to odds. -490 right now for Jack Della Maddalena. I wrote an article earlier today, it was -450, so the odds are just going up and up. Danny Hot Chocolate Roberts +390. I'll start on this one, Marcel. I'm absolutely 100% sure Jack Della Maddalena wins this fight. And I'm confident he knocks out Danny Roberts. There's no need to overthink this one, guys. This dude is legit. He is an absolutely precise, nasty striker. He's a sniper to the body. He goes to the head. His striking is beautiful to watch. He just knocked out Ramazan Emeev. That was beyond impressive. Danny Roberts has been knocked out 3 times in the UFC. His durability is not very good. He is a decent fighter. I think it's going to be a fun fight for as long as it lasts. I think it'll be a striking battle. I think Jack knocks him out. Honestly, I think he does it in the first round. So, quick knockout here. Maybe you could look, because again, knockout's -175. That's what everyone's going to pick here, right? You have to look for something even more specific to get really good odds, like Maddalena in the first round by knockouts plus money. But again, that's very specific. That's what I think happens, though. I don't think you have to overthink this one, Marcel. I think he knocks him out. I think it's quick. Go ahead.
Yeah. Beautiful setup for the UFC to put them on the February card in Perth.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, first round knockout for Della Maddalena here for me as well.
Yep.
Beautiful fighter to watch. Beautiful striking.
Yep. I love it.
I think dude is 26 or 27. He looks like 38, but he strikes like he's 20. You know, that's how young he looks. Or with the striking, how precise.
So good.
Beautiful to watch, man.
By the way, his nose is like worse than Arlovsky's. Like it's got right?
His nose is like East Coast, and his upper side is West Coast.
It's insane how bad it's been broken.
Yeah.
The guy,
he's a former rugby player, right?
He's tough as fucking nails.
Yeah.
I like him. Win. Yeah, he wins. Like 100% confident. Like that's why the line's minus 500, but I think it's justified. I really think it's justified. Like I just don't see how Danny wins this fight. This is an unwinnable fight in my opinion. That's knocked out. And I think he'll probably fight the winner of Fialho and Salikhov on that Perth card because that's the next fight, and I think that's what they'll do. That's what I think they do. Jack by knockout, I think so too. Again, you have to lay juice on it, which sucks, but that's what I think happens. Do you think Charles Johnson should have lost that decision to Royval? I can't remember now. It's been a few years in that fight in LFA, but I can't remember. You have to ask John. John would know. John Beezer in the chat here, our LFA expert. All right, Marcel, we'll go to the next fight here. I just kind of hinted towards it. A very fun fight in the UFC welterweight division between Andre Fialho and Muslim Salikhov. This is a great fight, and odds are minus 110 each. So flip the coin literally, and you'll pick a winner here. Give me your thoughts on this one, man. Who are you picking? Because this is the hardest fight to pick on the card, apparently, according to odds.
It's pretty easy, actually.
Oh.
I think if Andre Fialho doesn't knock him out early, I think Salikhov wins by decision. That's what I think. And then it's the thing, do I think Salikhov gets hit early in the fight? Very possible, you know.
Yeah.
But I think he learns from the Li Jingliang fight, you know, and he keeps his distance, picking his shots, and even going for takedowns if possible, you know. I know he's more of a striking kind of guy based, you know, but he can mix in takedowns as well. Salikhov for me for a decision in this one.
I honestly think it's the hardest fight in the card to pick. I'm really going back and forth. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Fialho, but it's so slight. It's like 51%. It's just because he's 10 years younger. That's the only reason I'm picking him. Again, you know, I usually don't pick the older guy, and Muslim's 38. And again, coming off a brutal knockout. So is Fialho, but again, he's only 28. And before that, lost to Matthews, which that's surprising how good Matthews looked in that fight. That was impressive.
You just don't want to get how do you say that? You just don't want to get Anita angry. That's all.
Yeah. He's the Portuguese guy, right? Yeah. Him and Cap. I think he knocks him out, but again, I'm not confident. I'm not betting on this fight. I'm staying the fuck away from this fight from a betting perspective. My pick will be Fialho just because younger guy and he's got the reach and height advantage. But Salikhov is a good fighter still. I'm not counting him off because he got knocked by Lee. I think he's still good. And matchup wise, is actually a good matchup for him, to be honest with you. But again, Marcel, I just think the chin might be going a little bit, but it easily could knock out Fialho, and I could say the other. You could say the other thing around him. So. We are going to do a Bellator preview, yes, like Salikhov. Fair enough. Exactly. That's why I'm going to Fialho too. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Chase Sherman taking on Waldo Cortes-Acosta. This is a short notice fight. Chase was supposed to fight Josh Parisian a few weeks ago. Josh Parisian, I think he had an anxiety attack or a panic attack because his heart is fine. Apparently, he said that, which is good to hear. He's talked about this in interviews more so where he has panic attacks before fights, which is not good to have, especially in a sport like this. It's actually amazing that the guy's made to the UFC with the amount of anxiety he has. I think he really does need to see a doctor and get on some medication because that he might not have a heart problem, but it will give you a heart problem. I'll tell you that. So as someone who's dealt with anxiety like his whole life too, so you got to get help for that, and I hope he does. But I'm glad they booked Chase for a fight here, and got to be honest, I'm a little surprised Waldo took this fight so soon because he did eat a lot of leg kicks in the last fight, right, against Jair Vandeira. But again, he is taking on technically a step down here, and Waldo's minus 210, and Chase Sherman's plus 180. I'm picking Waldo. I think he knocks him out, but I'm just wondering why I took the fight so soon. I guess he's 100% because if his leg was still sore, he wouldn't have said yes to this, right? He would have said yes. You tell him he needs to wait. Cortes-Acosta by knockouts even money. That's what I'm going with here. I think that's the way to go. I think he knocks out Chase Sherman. And honestly, if he doesn't knock Chase out, he actually might get knocked out himself like late in the third round or something because Chase does have good cardio. But I think he knocks Chase out. Chase has been knocked out a bunch. Cortes-Acosta. I just got back from Dominican. I got to pick the only Dominican fighter. I'm going to go with Waldo Marcel. By the way, man, it is hot down there. This guy, his whole life, he's been, must have been training in some crazy heat down there in boxing or something. I don't know. Maybe that's why you don't see a lot of fighters coming from there to the UFC or to boxing, or I guess boxing more so. But I think the guy's good, man. I honestly do think he's good, and I think he'll win this fight. But again, he did struggle a little bit against Vandeira more than I thought. So that's the only hesitation, but I think he wins. What do you think?
Yeah, man, Salsa Boy. Wasn't impressed at all against Jared Vandera, to be really honest. He won the first and the third round, but he ate way too much leg kicks.
Yeah.
Was not surprised or was not impressed, but also, man, Chase Sherman isn't that impressive,
Yeah.
Although I think he looked better in his last fight, against Jared Vandera. It's actually pretty funny. Both guys fought Jared Vandera in the last fight.
I know that's why I like the matchmaking here. To be honest with you, I like when they have a common opponent.
I'm also with Waldo here, man. I take Waldo first round.
Yeah, knockout. That's what I'm thinking too. And I think he doesn't knock out in the first round. It could get interesting because Chase does have good card. He just knocked his last knocked out Jared in the last fight in the third round. It's not true. How's it going, man? Sherman's wins Jared Nike. Yeah, I know. But he did knock out Jared and Waldo didn't. That's the only thing that's, interesting, I think. Fialho's pals are rated. He got some power, but his chain, I think, is questionable. Aldo gets main card spots against Sherman and Vandera, but not Romanov. Oh, Waldo or Cortes-Acosta. Yeah, Waldo. I was like, who's Aldo? Dogger past Sherman's experience. Yeah, he could win. He could. Yeah, that's the only thing. Grateful Dead. Grateful Dude. I'm. That's the only thing. But again, if his leg was sore, he wouldn't have taken this fight so soon. He would have said, "I need more time to heal." Like, why would he say yes to this? It's not like I'm sure he needs the money. I think they both do. But like, they could have easily booked this next month in like Orlando. Where like Chase trains in Florida. They could have Marcel. So he must be fine. I'm just banking on him being healthy. If he's healthy, he wins this fight. Let's go to the next fight here. We got okay. This fight should not be a co-main event. I mean, come on. I love Kennedy. He's a good dude, man. He takes care of his mom who's sick. Like he's a fun guy to watch. He's got a big heart. He's shown that throughout his career. He should not be a co-main event, And Cutelaba shouldn't be either because he's looked horrible lately. Anyways, Kennedy and Nzechukwu and I on Cutelaba. Kennedy's minus 175, which is interesting. There's a big favorite here against Cutelaba, who's always a favorite. Now he's a dog, plus 150. People are down on Cutelaba. It's hard to pick Ion, I think, Marcel, because he has been getting finished, but it wasn't that long ago. He just destroyed Devin Clark, and he does have a lot of experience against like pretty high-level guys in the UFC. He has some nice wins. Not only that, but like his kryptonite is guys that can submit him. Now he's fighting guys like except for Magomed who knocked him out, right? He's fighting a guy here in Kennedy who's like not a submission guy. He did show a better ground game in his last fight against Carl Robertson. Looked amazing, but Carl Robertson is he's like a middleweight. He's not a light heavyweight. Let's be honest. Kennedy is got some advantages here as far as like the size goes. He's always bigger. Marcel, he's got 4 inches of height, 8 inches of reach. And again, I just think his durability is better. I think that's why I'm banking on him with kind of surviving a tough first round. It might look like that fight with Carlos Ulberg, where he's getting teed off on, and then the opponent gasses. I could see that happening here. I think Kennedy wins, probably knocks out Cutelaba like later in the fight. But again, this is another one where I think you could see an upset here with Cutelaba. I wouldn't bet on this fight personally, but I think Kennedy, if he wins, will be like second, third round TKO. Maybe look at a round prop. I think if he survives the first, he wins. I don't think he wins in the first, so that's what I'm thinking happens. What do you think, man?
I was thinking, why is Cutelaba the blue corner? But they probably want to have the Moldovans in the same dressing room, So with Spivac and him.
Yeah.
I'm actually on the other side, man.
I don't blame you.
I think we saw Kennedy as well against Dow and Jung, and he was like covering up.
I bet him in that fight. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing?
Yeah. So
he just shelled up and that's the game plan, the Homer Simpson game plan, right?
Yeah, and I think Cutelaba has the power to knock through that and to knock him out. So I'm going with a first round knockout for Cutelaba here, man.
I want to see the odds on that, Marcel, because I think we both have this. We both are seeing the fight the same. It's either Ion gets the first round or he gets finished late. If he doesn't get the first round finished, do you think he'll gas out and get finished?
Yeah,
exactly. All right, so Cutelaba by first round knockout is 4+. Okay, Cutelaba in the first round is plus 450. Him by knockout is plus 240. I mean, there's got to be some value on that because that's the way he'd win the fight. Cutelaba by knockout in the first round is plus 550. That's interesting. I'm looking at Kennedy like by like second or third round, plus 400 second round, plus 850 third round. There's not a ton of value. You'd have to like take a specific method. Don't want to get too cute though. But I'm just saying like that's kind of the way I attack. I wouldn't like love to like lay the money line here. I'd rather take a long shot on a prop because I think that's the way this fight goes. Either early finish for Ion or he gets knocked out late. You guys think Cutelaba gets covered the loss? Probably because it'd be like 1 in 6, 1 in 5 or something. Mm-hmm. So Some fighters scared to say no. Yeah. Fight IQ of the card drops with 10 points and Cutelaba on the card. True, but he's got some power. Cutelaba by decision? I mean, you think he just grind him out? Maybe, eh? Take a look at that. Cutelaba by decision. It's possible. Plus 750. I mean, I think that's the same odds it was for the Clark fight. That was shocking for a lot of people. Everyone was parlaying that fight.
This fight can go anywhere except for a submission, so it probably ends in a submission.
Yeah, no, watch it. I think Shelby has a warm spot for Iron, making Dean look like a jackass. And Jacoby stared on. Oh, yeah, the close push. You guys think Derrick's future Hall of Famer? Yes, 100%. Because, again, Antoine, he got the most knockout wins in the UFC with the 13. Let's talk about that fight. We're going to the main event right now, Marcel. Time for the main event, guys. We have Derrick Lewis taking on Serghei Spivac. 5-round heavyweight fight or less. I don't think this fight goes 5 rounds. I don't think it needs to be 5 rounds, but the biggest names on the card. Serghei Spivac, minus 195, the Polar Bear, plus 165 for the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis. Marcel, go ahead, give me your thoughts and give me your pick for this fight.
Yeah, I think Derrick Lewis gets back to his winning ways and knocks him out in the first round. That's what I think. Spivac had a good run, but I think Lewis knows he has to win with a knockout here and early. I understand that maybe people thinking Spivac lasts longer and he maybe wins, but I'm having Lewis here via knockout in the first round.
He definitely could knock him out, and it's like I don't want to underestimate Lewis because I mean the guy is. When I was doing my breakdown, I was writing it up today. Like I'm like looking at his resume, like okay, he's beat Francis, he's beat Dawkins, he's beat Blades, he's beaten Volkov, he's beaten a ton of guys. He's a great fighter. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame. He's got the most knockouts in UFC history. Okay, any weight class. But he's also 37. He's been knocked out himself. He's getting chinny. And I just think Spivac's so much younger. He's way younger, right? He's only 27, and he had a tough run to start his career with that debut loss to Walt Harris, and you thought this guy was going to be terrible. He's turned it around. He's won 5 of 6. He hasn't been beating guys like Derrick Lewis, though. That's the only thing, right? Like Sakai, Hardy, you're not as good. That being said, Marcel, I think the guy's making improvements every fight, and he's getting better. He's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. He's getting more nasty with his finishing ability. I think he grabs and pounds Derrick Lewis. That's what I think happens here. But again, he could get knocked out. You can't discount him getting knocked out. Like Derrick Lewis by knockout is, I mean, how could that not be a potential way this fight ends? Knockout for Derrick Lewis plus 215, Spivac plus 140. There might be a prop on either fighter ending the fight by knockout. Let me take a look. Either fighter by knockouts minus 200. I really think that's what happens here. I don't think this fight. I mean, I guess he could get submitted, but I think someone gets finished, either ground and pound or knockout. I want to go Spivac though, Marcel, just because I think he's on the up and Lewis is on the down. If that makes sense. So, if Serghei wins, what's the possible matchup for him? That's a good question. I mean, I think if he wins, they'd probably push him pretty high, right? Like, I'll have to look at the rankings. Do you have any suggestion? Let's see here. Well, if he beats Lewis, I guess like Volkov maybe. Is Volkov a fight book lined up? Does he have a fight lined up? Alexander Volkov? I don't think so, right? He does?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, if Volkov has what did you say?
Is Volkov fighting, or is he? Because he could fight him next if he wins the fight.
Yeah, right? It's possible. Yeah, he doesn't have a fight.
Yeah, that could be that fight. That makes sense. And honestly, if Lewis wins, I would like to still see that rematch because Volkov was winning 4 minutes and 50 seconds of that fight before that knockout, that Conor McGregor Khabib card. I always thought that fight should have been made again. Alex Marcus says he loves Spivac in the event. I think he'll finish Lewis wrestling. Wouldn't be surprised if Lewis retires. Maybe. Spivac inside the distance. That's what I'm thinking. Ground and pound. He could rear naked choke him possibly. Thinks Lewis just washed up. I think his chin's going, but at the same time, like he's losing to the best guys like Ty and Pavlovich. Like those guys are beasts. Serghei moneyline, Lewis by knockout. Yeah, that could be work too. Looks like Usman will be on the Perth card. Wonder who he fights. Any intel on that one?
No idea.
Spivac doesn't look comfortable on the feet. Don't like his style of wrestling as Lewis. Yeah, should be Romanov Lewis. Yeah, Romanov too is another guy really good. Yeah, Umar's. I don't know if he was supposed to fight. He was getting. Yeah, he had some close decisions for sure. Absolutely, he gets the job done though, right? Romanov, he did. Oh yeah, that's right. It was horrible again. Now I remember. Sorry guys, that was so many fights. He didn't look good, but that fight should have been a draw. It should have been 10-8 and then 2 10-9s. Yeah, it should have been a draw. I completely agree. All Lewis is lost. Yeah, he's like over him, right? Glass cannon, 100%. Always thought the same way. You guys Kaikir France called Mikheyev. Oh, that'd be a good fight. I didn't know he called him out. Did he really, Marcel? That's a great fight. I think Kai wins, but
Mikheyev called him out.
Oh,
I don't think
I read it wrong. Sorry, guys. That makes more sense. I'm like, why did the number 3 guy call him out? I think Kai wins that fight. He's got good takedown defense, and he's got way better striking. Lewis looked like a heart was in it. I kind of agree with that too. All right. Anything else in this card? Or you want to move on to the quick Bellator preview here?
Yeah, let's do the quick Bellator preview.
Cool. All right, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to this card. We're going to go Bellator now. I'm going to pull up the card here.
Put it on screen.
For sure. Pull it up here, guys.
Put it on the screen.
Bellator 288. Here it is. All right, cool. Let's get to this one.
First closing those porn.
I know, right? I had to close it really fast because you guys are like looking. All right. All right, let's get to this card. Bellator 288 Nemkov Anderson in Chicago. I don't think we need to go through all the fights, but there are a few we obviously want
just
to go
the main
through.
card, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Vadim Nemkov and Corey Anderson, the rematch. Actually, Anderson's the favorite now. I picked him the first fight. He should have won. I've heard him talk about this, and he basically said he knew he was gonna be a no contest because 3 rounds hadn't been finished, but he wanted to do the honorable thing, which I can commend. But at the same time, I think he shouldn't have said anything. You will be the champ right now. You wouldn't have to fight again. You know, Marcel? Like that's my thoughts. If you're not cheating, you're not trying in MMA. Corey Anderson minus 225, Vadim Nemkov plus 175. I think Anderson wins. I think he's a different fighter now in Bellator than he was in the UFC. Nemkov's good, but I think Anderson's got the wrestling, as he showed in the first fight, to beat him. There's no reason to pick Nemkov here unless you really think he can make that adjustment from that first fight, which I don't believe he will. So I think Anderson wins. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. Anderson wins the fight, I think, as well. How can you not pick him after that last one? So yeah, I mean,
y'all stuck now though. You're not getting plus money anymore.
No, unless Nemkov had a huge, how do you say that? Made a lot of improvements in the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I'm picking Anderson as well, and I think Anderson. What a great deal he made, right? To go to Bellator, to go from the UFC to Bellator. So yeah,
absolutely. FanDuel doesn't have Bellators. I think they do actually because I've seen them on there, but DraftKings has them for sure. Thoughts on Mansour joining Bellator lightweight division? He's an awesome fighter. I bet on him against Adam Piccolotti, and that was easy money. Should Mansour get the winner? Usman Pitbull probably, but he'll probably have to fight one more time. Anderson by late knockout, I think so. Nemkov by knockout or is a hedge, possibly. Are Fedor and Khabib going to be in attendance?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe, yeah. There's all these Bellator cards. All right. What am I? All right. Pitbull and Usman. I mean, Usman's minus 500, Pitbull plus 275. Usman wins. I'm confident he wins. You could parlay them too. What do you think?
Yeah, me too. The thing is only that with Usman, I think if they were smart, they would have done Patricky against Tufik Musayev, the rematch,
Yeah.
And Usman, the thing with Usman is he's fighting the champion without fighting a ranked opponent before.
That's
really fighting a top contender.
He just looks so impressive though, right? Like,
yeah, I agree. And that's why he's a huge favorite as well, I think, to win here, and I think he should win here as well. Because for me, I like Patricky Pitbull, but I always thought he was the less impressive brother of the two.
Oh.
So yeah.
He's had some nice wins through his career, like the Josh Thompson,
True.
Benson Henderson. This last one was nice, but I mean, he beat Peter Cooley, who's not very good, to win the belt. It's not really a legit title fight. That one really wasn't. Daniel Weichel against Timur Khizriev. Khizriev's the favorite here, minus 300. Weichel plus 240. Weichel's got 55 fights. He's a very experienced guy. He's definitely pulled off some upsets through his career. I want to say he was a favorite there. Which fight was he? Oh yeah, against Keanu Diggs. He was a dog. He's had a lot of experience in Bellator, but what do you think?
I don't trust the dude who loses to Pedro Carvalho.
I know.
So Khizriev, he got a great win over Bibur Tumenov not too long ago.
This guy right here?
That's Albert's little brother. This is a really good fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with the Dagestani here, man. I think this is like Bellator looking at, is our established guy still good enough to be here, or are the more unknown talented guys are surpassing this guy?
This is the guy that died. This is the guy that died, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy. I'm with you. I mean, you have to pick this guy, right? Like, and Bellator. Honestly, Marcel, most of these whenever the Bellator does these fights, the prospect usually wins when they have these mismatches. Another one here, Tyrell Fortune against Daniel James.
Daniel James is 40 already, man.
At first, I was like, Daniel Jones is in Bellator now? That's the quarterback of the New York Giants. And I'm like, who the hell is Daniel James? Fortune minus 300, James plus 240. How could you pick this guy, James? How can you pick him here, Marcel? You can't,
I
right?
don't. No.
How can you pick this dude? You know what? This is he beat that Pessoa guy. And Martin.
Yeah,
These are some good wins, man.
And he got pulled from his last fight due to use of banned substance. He was supposed to fight in
Oh.
Bellator already.
He actually has some decent wins, to be honest.
Yeah, in ACB, I think, and an LFA.
He's been a veteran for 8 years. Okay, he's got some decent wins. He's better than I thought at first, but I mean, what is he gonna get taken down and grounded out, basically?
I think Fortune obviously has to win this fight, dude, if he wants to make another run at the top of the division. So yeah,
I think Fortune wins. I think he wins for sure. And then opening up the main card, Roman Frall against Levan Shokeli. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know if Georgie's in the chat. He probably has the correct pronunciation, but Roman's minus 190, Levan plus 155. Marcel, I'm gotta be honest. Like, I know Levan is a solid fighter, but like, I'm confident Roman beats him, man. I think Roman's a monster. Look at this guy's record. Like,
yeah, but
I know the guys aren't good, but like the weight, it's just so easy. Like,
true.
Yeah, but you're right. This is a step up, I guess, right?
Yeah, but the thing that really bothers me is that these guys are ranked now. And while you give a ranked guy, you're still going to give him like non-ranked guy, you know. They're building him up, but at a certain moment, you shouldn't build any more up. And you just, I don't say they have to put him against like the top of the division yet, but at least somebody who's ranked if he's ranked as well, you know. So, yeah, that's how I think about it. And that's what we said it here in the chat. Let me see.
Let me get some comments. Which one?
I'm searching for. I saw it and now I don't see it anymore. That the prelims were stacked with the John Beeser said that prelims are loaded with prospect. Yeah, but all matched up with guys they should win against. You know, and that's a huge problem I have with Bellator all the time. They're doing that.
And occasionally they will lose. Like, where's that guy? Remember that dude that lost? That he was a huge favorite. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, that's Cody Law who fought
that guy.
James Gonzalez.
Yeah, so occasionally they will lose, but like, let's be honest, it's like Jordan Newman guy destroys this dude. Lucas Brennan destroys this guy. Like, these fights aren't close.
Sullivan Carley destroys the guy.
There was one other fight that got canceled. Jalen Bates and Jordan Lugo. That would have been a good fight. That's too bad that got canceled. Just a couple comments here from some people in the chat.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Usman will come to UFC later in his career? Maybe.
Not right now. It's like Islam is lightweight champion, right?
He's under contract, right, and his cousin or friend, I guess.
Yeah. Not right now.
No.
But that was the plan. That was the plan. Yeah.
Thoughts on Megan Anderson's accusations? Oh yeah, that's crazy. Megan Anderson's an idiot. I mean, I'm just tired of her. I don't like her Twitter. She's one of the worst Twitters out there. Blocks everyone who disagrees with her. Does not respond to criticism. Basically outed her friend as a cheater, cheating on her husband, our former friend, a colleague at ESPN because they both work with each other. That's fucked. She's not going to last long in this
she's like the fighting equivalent of Amy Kaplan.
That's funny, but you know, Marcel, like, I just think outing your coworker like that is just wrong. Like, and maybe it's true. Maybe James Croce and Laura together. I don't know. I have no clue. To be honest, I don't really care.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't know why she had to bring that up on Twitter. I think it's so immature of her. Mm-hmm. I just don't like her. I don't get the appeal. Not trying to be overly mean here, but she's not very nice either from what I'm seeing. So I don't really care. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, I just think to do that to your coworker, because they're both at ESPN, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what's going to happen backstage. Maybe someone's going to get slapped. Like, we're going to have a Will Smith moment. I don't know, man. It's just a weird thing to say. I mean, maybe there's something behind it, but I thought what Jeff Molina said, that seemed to be more true. Like, she was lazy and didn't want to spar, and then she would only spar like soccer moms and not broke their nose or something. You saw that, right?
Jeff buried her, dude.
I believe Jeff more than her. Do you?
Yeah. Like I said, Jeff buried her.
That was awesome. I love that, man. Sorry to back JDM set up. Yeah, Pereira would be a good fight. Pereira was at Michelle Pereira. He was at the event last week. He was in the crowd. Umar and Usman. Yeah, they are. Michelle and Neil Magny, JDM and D-Rod. Okay, that would be fine too. I'm okay with that. Burns and Magny, Antoine, they'd be fine. I mean, it looks like Masvidal doesn't want to fight, eh? Masvidal keeps turning down this fight. I think Burns should move on at this point. He's got to fight again, and he hasn't fought since the Khamzat fight, I think, in April. But I think the UFC gave him a lot of money behind the scenes for that fight.
There are too many guys who are feeling like,
entitled.
How do you say that? Yeah, entitled to get something they don't deserve. You know what I mean?
Like, Masvidal's waiting for a title shot. He's never getting it. No. He does not deserve a title shot. Masvidal needs to win a fight. Masvidal was the biggest star in the UFC 3 years ago. He was the biggest star for about a year or so. I really do think he was after he knocked out Ben Askren and beat Nate Diaz and Darren Till, like that.
Yeah.
That win streak, and then that fight with Hiestand, he took on short notice, basically like where he got pushed against the fence, was horrible for his career. Hooker and Turner being ahead of Zhumagulov. Yeah, I think Zhumagulov is ranked too low, but he doesn't fight often enough. That's the problem. Completely agree. Oh, Sullivan Colley, yeah, for sure. Well, Cruden, Wanzo being booked. What's next for Azamat Professional? That's a good question. Azamat's ranked, I think, too.
Yeah, or not anymore.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
15 or not anymore. I don't know if somebody entered the ranking recently.
Khalil Roundtree, Dustin Jacoby.
Yeah,
Khalil. Like
yeah, he's not ranked anymore. He was 15, he's now 16.
I saw an accusation Megan married her roommate to get a U.S. visa. I mean, I have no idea about that, but like when you are out there opening up a can of worms, it's going to come back to haunt you. You know what I mean, Marcel?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was extremely unprofessional for what you did, for what you wrote. Because again, they're coworkers. If I outed a coworker like that, no one would ever talk to me again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the truth. Again, there could be some truth behind that, but I don't know. So weird PFL cross promotion with SFT. What's that? What's SFT? There was that card in the weekend. I know John was watching that card. Our boy John here. Aline Pereira. That's Alex's sister's fighting that fight. Can't wait for that, man. Were you guys favoring the interim featherweight title fight? Oh, that's a great question, Antoine. Holy crap. Do you?
Yeah, Jair.
So I picked Jair in his last fight against Brian. And I mean, that fight was weird. I think he's really good. And then Josh is a guy I've kind of underrated, honestly, guys. Like, but
me too, because I'm picking Jair again.
Those fucking hammers, Marcel. He's got so much power. He can go 5 rounds too. I think that's a hard fight to call. I honestly don't have a lean. I have to think about it more. I just hope they stay healthy. I think it's a great fight. If someone falls out, Arnold Allen has to fill in. I will say this though, Arnold Allen doesn't have the quality wins that these guys have, in my opinion. You agree?
Arnold Allen has an injured hand, so
he's hurt. But like I know he's got 10 wins, Marcel, but his best win is against an injured cavalcator, you know?
Yeah.
That's the problem I have. Because he fights once a year, and
I agree.
That's on him. He could have fought more. Who was her husband that worked at ESPN? Who? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I was saying that Laura Sanko and Megan both work at ESPN now. I'm just saying they're probably going to see each other backstage at some point. It's going to see what happens there.
It's just stupid because they also had a show together, I think. So
they used to.
Like,
Laura in Fancy Pants or something. It was called.
Yeah, I remember she was also like being an idiot about I think James Lynch said once on his show, which wasn't really that.
I remember that now. Mean tweet or something like that. I remember this. Yeah.
It wasn't even the tweet. He said it on the show.
Yeah, James didn't say anything bad. I think someone sent her a clip of it, and maybe someone will send her a clip of this. I don't really care.
I think James said like it was the fight against Cyborg, and that Megan was a little bit overrated. He said.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad. What he said.
Yeah, not at all.
No, I mean this again. I don't have an issue with her, but she's gonna go out there and
with Casey Kenny.
Casey Kenny. That was Kenny shouldn't have said what he said. Okay,
true, but still
blown out of proportion. I know, but I'm saying like those who cast stones from glass houses. You know that quote. Like when you're out there throwing shade at your coworkers and former best friends, that's messed up, bro. That's just messed up. I honestly, I gotta be honest with yourself. I hate people like that in life that turn on their friends. You know, there's people I'm not friends with anymore, but I'm not gonna go and publicly like out them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
I hate that, bro.
I tell you honestly, dude. If people know what I tell my friends or what I'm talking to with my friends in real life, I would have been canceled like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? That's how it is, you know. And that's what it's just like. Why do we need to be like that? You know, I mean, you can't say this, you can't say that because that guy got how do you say that? Is appalled to it and this and that. You don't know. For example, when I'm with my friends here, what we say against each other, it's kind of crazy, but we have kind of dark humor. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. You gotta be careful what you say because you never know someone turns on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why on Twitter I'm always like really like
same.
Yeah.
Try to be like diplomatic or whatever.
Diplomatic, yeah.
Yeah, that's diplomatic. How's Megan make a living? I think she does. She works at ESPN now. She does interviews for them, and then she does like Twitch. I think people pay her to watch her play video games, which I never understood. Maybe some of you guys like that. I don't get it. I don't understand that at all, to be honest. Why would you want to watch someone else play a video game? Like, I just don't get it. Sorry.
You know what I like? You know what I like? That's also maybe weird. You got these people who are watching like old video clips of the 80s and the 90s, and they're reacting to it on YouTube.
Bro,
that's something.
Those videos do way better than this.
I like watching that. I think that's fun, but I would never pay for it. You know what I mean?
What you mean. I know what you mean. Andrew Tate, I don't know much about this guy. I know he's maybe fighting Jake Paul. I honestly don't know. I think he's like kind of controversial and stuff. Like, I don't really know anything about him. I got to be honest. Megan also, That's I don't know this guy either. I don't watch his videos.
It's actually funny. I was near the, how do you say, the gas station, and that guy knew me as a mailman. So he's like, dude, I haven't seen you for a long time, and I'm like, I'm now doing like MMA, covering MMA, writing about MMA full time. He's like, oh, that's great. So you also write about Andrew Tate. I was like, dude, I have no idea who is that. You know, that was a couple of months ago. Who is that? He's like, he's a famous kickboxer. I was like, I don't know him, dude.
I really don't know much about this guy either.
Yeah.
I think he's like kind of controversial and stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
You gotta go back and watch the podcast. We did the main card preview, but to answer your question, we both picked the favorites in these fights.
Yeah.
Marcus, if you purchase Bellator, what changes you immediately make to be more competitive with UFC? That's a really good question, Marcus. That's a really, really good question. I first off would never go head to head with the UFC. I think when they both do it on Saturday, it's one of the dumbest things they could do. Are they both on this Saturday?
No, Friday and Saturday.
Okay, that makes more, because like, I think you hurt your fans, because fans, especially hardcore fans, want to watch both. So that's one change I would make. I would stop doing the egregious mismatches where the guys are minus 3,000. I don't like fights like that. I don't think we need to see the fights like that. Maybe look to sign some more talented free agency, some guys that get released on the UFC or something. I know they don't like doing that as much anymore, but there's some good talent out there. I don't know. I think they could sign Eddie Alvarez. They should look at it because this is like Dana White wants to bring him back. I think they could take a look at Eddie. What are you gonna say?
Got to bring this up. PFL, $50.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
PFL, who's paying for it? I mean, everyone we've talked to, we work in the fucking industry, is not paying for it.
No way.
Who's paying for this?
$50? They're nuts.
No one's paying for this. I think the card's really good. I'll give it that. But this is a card you should put on TV, on ESPN or whatever it is. Big ESPN. Asking people to pay $50 for this card is ridiculous. I'm not buying it. I'm sure there'll be find a way to watch it. But it's also like I like PFL, but like this card I want to watch, to be fair, because it's the finals and they're good fights. But like sometimes I don't go on my way. Like if there's something better to do, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Whereas the UFC, I don't miss it.
Bro, $50 They're nuts.
I know. How can someone become an MMA writer? Well, I mean, I've been doing this for 12 years, dude. So I started doing it in 2010. I went to school for journalism, and I wanted to do MMA. Everyone thought it was crazy because sport was still kind of new then. Just kind of grinding my way up. That's all I can tell you. I mean, Marcel has been grinding forever too. It took him a long time to find a job himself.
I didn't go to school for journalism school, so I've just been lucky,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still think I'm lucky too, because like it's hard to get a job, man. But I've worked my ass off. Like I've been through so much in this industry, guys. Like it's crazy. I've worked for so many websites. Like I have a good spot now, but I don't work full time in MMA anymore. It's my part-time job now, and my full-time job is awesome. Like I have a good job.
What the funny thing is, man? I always wanted to be a sports writer. I always wanted to do it for soccer, football, for soccer. Yeah. And then I just didn't make it in school, the thing is like, if I'm not interested in something, I'm not interested, and then you still have to get those grades to be at that go to there. But I just wasn't interested. I wasn't a serious guy when I was 15, 16 years of age, and I wasn't working towards something. And now it's like you have to grind, and I got kind of lucky as well, So I don't say I still think I work hard enough, in the industry with stuff to get a chance, but other people were more deserving, maybe, But I'm happy I got the chance,
Yeah, I'm just thinking, it's just crazy, man. I'm 34 now, guys, and like I started doing this. I made the decision to like do MMA when I was like 20 or 21, like over half my life, or almost half my life ago. It's crazy, right? Like the years go by very fast. I want to be 4 years old in a few years. I'm like, holy shit, I've been writing about MMA for 20 fucking years.
And the thing also now is like when we were younger, like when we were 15, 14, there was nothing like, oh, I want to be an MMA journalist or I want to be an MMA writer. You get like Ariel Alani was there, who was interviewing the guys and maybe some other guys. but it wasn't really like now. Right now, you got guys who are like 17 years old, 18
Yeah.
years old who want to be like an MMA rider, and they have a purpose. When we were younger, it wasn't really a thing.
I just
right
tell
now,
them good luck though, Marcel, because this is such a hard
course.
industry to find a job in. Like, it's just there's not many jobs, and even if you get one, like they don't. Most of the jobs are not high paying.
Yeah.
I have a job outside of MMA that pays me really well now, but it took me a long time to get here. When I was in MMA, I did okay for some of the years, and then like the last couple of years, I was working for like 7 or 8 websites. So I was making really good money. But that's because I was working 7 days a week. Like that's kind of like our boy James. Like I'm not saying he works 7 days every week, but the amount of interviews he does, the volume, like our friend Cole, like they have to do it like that because I think those like jobs that are like a junkie or fighting, they come up every 5 or 10 years. Like those are hard jobs to get. Like so if you want to do this, it's just like you have to think about it. Like I would definitely encourage people to do it because if you love it, if you have a passion for it, do it. But you have to really think about it because honestly, man, like I think if I chose to do something else, I'd probably be like more ahead financially. But I love what I do, and I've always enjoyed it so much, man, that I don't regret it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's just my journey. But everyone's journey is different, as I always talk about in any way of life. Anything else, Marcel?
No, that's it.
I think that was a good way to end the podcast, actually. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Yeah. Marcel, plug your stuff, my friend, and let's get out of here.
We go Big Marcel24 on Twitter and Instagram and Eurosport.nl mixed martial arts section.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at MMAOB Podcast and MMAOB.com. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Bookies.com. Got my best bets coming out tomorrow. MyMainNews.com for some news. oddsbreaker for your odds. We'll be back next Monday, Marcel. 5 p.m. Eastern. That'll be next Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. And just to answer this guy's question, local. Last year I left working at MMA full time. I still work in it part time. Work for a couple of websites. I'm still making a decent actually living part time, but my full time job is with bookies.com. It's an awesome job. I write about odds, betting odds. I write about like betting bonuses and like how to sign up and stuff like that. If you go check it out, you'll see it, like evergreen content and stuff like it's. And then I do write MMA for them, but like that's not like the main focus there. But it's good, I got to be honest, Marcel. I made that decision because they paid me more money, like, quite frankly. But it was the right call because it's gave me so much more freedom to like spend time with my daughter. Working 7 days a week was, it was unsustainable, honestly. And this job, literally got a message on LinkedIn like a year ago, or like right after my daughter was born. Some guy messaged me on LinkedIn and was like, "Hey, are you interested in this job?" And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "I guess." I'm like, "This doesn't." I'm like, "Is this real?" Because the guy's telling me the money. I'm like, "It sounds really good." And it turned out to be good. And I've been there for over a year now. And I've been there full time coming up on next 2 weeks, Marcel. I've been there for a year. So it's been a year since I left BJ Penn, which was my full-time job for like 3 years, I think, which was also a good job. BJ Penn was pretty good. BJ Penn was good too. I actually liked working there. But I lucked out for sure, man. I have a good gig right now, and I'm very lucky. And then I still get to do this on the side, which is just the best of both worlds, so very, very happy. Anyways, that's to answer the question. We'll be back on Monday, guys, at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're recapping this card, and then we'll talk about PFL as well. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye.